Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons with Troy. Well, today's lesson is what I call a concept lesson, meaning there's no tablature for this, but I take you through the process that I go through to arranging a song. And the song we're going to be working on is "O Holy Night." I've already done it in open G tuning, there's tablature for that, but I had a request to do it in open D, so that's what we're going to do here. So I got the Weissenborn, D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. And one of the first things you want to do is figure out what key you want to do it in. Well, open D tuning, let's go ahead and choose the key of D. It really falls nicely there. And I've messed with this a little bit, before starting this lesson. But, so we got the tuning the key. And the next thing we want to do is just start off with just finding the basic melody, right? And the very first step is what the very first note of the song's going to be. So is it going to be the root, the third, or the fifth? That's a good place to start, right? And I must say too, the other thing that I've done is I printed out pull up the chords for this. I just Googled "O Holy Night" in the key of D and found the lyrics with the chords above it. So this will be that was a great help, and I suggest doing that too. If you're working on a song, you may not know the chord progression to it. So "O Holy Night," let's just do it phrase by phrase. And I can already hear where that first note's going to be. So it's, right, it's the major third of our one chord, our D chord, meaning that note, that open third string. And now what I like to do is not just play that melody, but put whatever the chord is, put that bass note under to see how it sounds. So there's the first part of our melody. So it's not the root. Right, that doesn't sound right. And it's not the fifth. Right, that doesn't sound right either. So to me, this sounds right. So there's the very first part. Oh, holy night. So there's, even with just that, there's some different ways we can do it. And before we go about like doing the arpeggio, I would say that would be the icing on the cake, right? But that's the feel at the end of the arrangement that we want to kind of get to too, is filling up the holes with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. But to me, that's one of the hardest parts of doing an arrangement like this, and I don't really start with that. I start with just the very basic melody and just letting the chords ring out and seeing where I might want to put the chords that would fit over that melody, right? So right off the bat, that part we can all do open, right? Now you could do that third fret, third string if you wanted to. Okay. And then when it goes, the stars are brightly shining, that part, we move to the 4 chord, our G chord, 5th fret. So we got. So it might be moving a little quick for you here, but anytime I'm doing a melody that fits over that D chord, a lot of times just open strings work real nice because it's going to give me the ability to do arpeggios if I want to, maybe with my thumb, And like I said, that's going to be the hard part, is putting that glue, or that kind of connecting the melody with the arpeggios and the chords. So let's just let the chords and the melody ring out and figure out where we want to go with this. So I'm thinking third, 5th, or F sharp, A. Now we go to this note, and anytime you've got, you've got a melody right where you can do a flat bar, it's nice to, you got 3 fingers, grab, any part of that chord you want. And I don't really think too much about it at first till I start, figuring out what I want to do with the bass and the arpeggios, right? So let's just think, right now the arrangement's going to be just grabbing the melody with the chords. So all that, the stars are brightly shining. Stars are bright. And then when shining goes back to that D. Right? And all that's just open. So that's it is the night of the... Now right here, we can do, follow that melody. Open second, open third, fourth fret, second fret, or fourth string, second fret. And open third string, first fret. Now I got the chords pulled up here, and like I said, I just Googled this and found a nice one in the key of D. What is it? music.kkihs.org is where I found this one. And then when it goes Dear Savior's Birth, then that goes to our 5 chord, our A chord, 7th fret. So anytime I'm working on this melody, it kind of comes quick to me, but I just think, is it going to be, what note of that barred chord on that fret is going to be that melody? And so if I go... Now I'm kind of singing it in my head. There it is. So I can I have the melody on top, and I just put the chords underneath it, especially if I have a straight bar, right, or open strings. So Dear Savior's Birth, this is going to be Dear Savior. So that's a lot of times what I'll do is just try to find that melody on a single string. Okay, so let's start from the top. Oh, Holy Night. So that's all D. D, D, still D. And it's stars, stars. Now go back to D. That's just open first string. So shining. And then where it says it is the night, that starts on the open second string. Go to your A chord, that note on top. Okay, so let's stop right there for just a second and see what we can do. So then if I'm going to put arpeggios to it, this is going to be the tricky part, because you got to get it to all fit within the timing of the melody. So you got to keep that melody going in your head. The melody is... dun, 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 dun. So let's just stop there. It's all a D chord. So naturally I want to do something like that. So any arpeggio will work. You just want to have that kind of a thing, but be free to, maybe you want to start with grabbing the string at the same time, the melody at the same time. So I'm really just thinking that, and then filling in the gaps with an arpeggio. Go to the G chord, same thing. Oop. Oh, actually, we got to do the night part, right? So anytime that melody falls on a strong beat, just grab that bass and another note, right? little better. So I'm thinking that melody on top. And then for the stars, go to your G chord. You just got to get that melody to fall rhythmically with those arpeggios, right? And that's the tricky part. If I can teach you how to do that, it would be thinking of the beat. So stars are brightly shining. Stars are bright. And I've got the rhythm going with my foot, and I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But it's not a pattern that I'm using. I'm thinking more the melody comes first, and then the arpeggio, right? And then I'm just over some chord, or over the chord that works here. So we're over that G chord, 5th fret. And really, you just fill in the holes with the arpeggio in between the melody. And if the melody, if you want to hit a bass note with that melody, pick it at the same time, you can do that, right? Stars are brightly. So I'm thinking, da, da, da. So if you're feeling that, that's 1, 2, you got the. Yeah, anytime you're holding that note out a little longer than the others, say it's a quarter note or whatever, and the others are 1/8 notes, that's a nice place to put in a little filler part with that part of the chord. And it could be any. I would just probably keep the melody on top and do the filler notes down below it. And then the hard part is trying to get that, like I said, rhythmically to fit. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going on. So Long Lay the World, I think it's the same kind of melody. Okay, now I'm trying to play it on one string, and it didn't really work out too well. Let's do Long Lay the World. And then it goes Sin, goes to that G chord. Sin and air. Okay, kind of the same thing, you know, just once you get the melody. I would switch to trying to play the melody, like I said, with your bar on the fret of the chord that you're on. Go back to the D chord. Then put in the arpeggios in there. Well, you can do that later. Let's keep going to the different chords now. So this is where the melody kind of gets out of the key. Da, da. So it's till he appeared. So the melody there goes, or the chords go on the till he appeared goes to a C sharp, right? But let's just play the melody for right now, because I like it where when he says, when you go to up, when he appeared, then you go to that F sharp minor chord. So we got D, E, F sharp on your 4th fret. So there's open 2nd string, then 2nd fret, 3rd string for till he. On he, that's where you play that 3rd string, 2nd fret. And then is open 3rd string. Till he appeared. And on appeared, let's say, you go to that F sharp minor. Now, I'm not going to play something that's a minor with a straight bar, right? Because that 3rd string is my major 3rd. So I'm just going to avoid it, right? Now I'm already wanting to put in arpeggios on the fillers where I hold the melody out for a while. I grab, it's turning out to be my 5th or 4th string with the arpeggio I'm finding. So now that, I may not even put a chord over that, just do the melody, right? You don't have to put a chord over everything. So till he appeared, arpeggio there. And then the part, and the soul felt its worth. So there's the melody there. 3rd fret to 5th fret, 3rd string. And then where it's soul felt its worth, the chords that I'm looking at, it says a C sharp 7. I'm just going to call it a C sharp major chord to an F sharp minor. So back to this chord. So C sharp 7. Where are we going to find that at? Well, 12th fret way up here is D. You go 1 fret behind it, that's going to be C sharp. So we just want a little C sharp major chord there. So we got and the soul felt its worth. On the word soul, that's where we're going to go to that C sharp chord. And I'm just going to grab it way up here. Now, because we're way up here, we're not going to want to jump too far down there, but I'm going to hit that F sharp minor on the word worth. So soul felt its worth, or worth. So that would be that note for that melody on worth. So once again, the tricky part. Till he appeared. F sharp minor, just avoid the 3rd string. Little arpeggio there just to fill it out. Don't worry about what you play. And soul, way up here, C sharp. It says C sharp 7, but let's just say C sharp major, power chord, because there's our melody note. So I'm going to grab notes under it. Soul felt its worth. So it's already on worth. That's the melody note. And if you're on F sharp minor, right? You don't have the 3rd in there if you just grab 6th, 5th, and 4th string, because that's your root, 5th root. The only time you have in open D tuning, at least, the 3rd that you have to avoid for minor chords is this 3rd string. So as long as you avoid that string and you have a minor chord, as long as the melody's not on the 3rd of the chord, if it's the root or the 5th, then it totally works. And that's where we're at here on soul. Sorry for my singing. Soul felt its worth. Okay, so let's rewind, start at Oh Holy Night, and go from there. So we got, remember it's starting on the major 3rd of our D chord. Oh holy night, the stars are brightly shining. This is with no arpeggios, right? And I'm just grabbing any note really that works. I like low bass notes, you know, if you're playing unaccompanied, those low bass notes will sound great. The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the... Go to your A chord for dear. Dear Savior's birth. And that's just 7th fret, 5th fret, 2nd fret, open. I'm not worried too much about the chords. It sounds nice just to do it on that 7th fret. Now you could, if you wanted to, because all your melodies on your 4th string here over that Dear Savior's birth, you could let that 5th string ring out, because that's the note A. That'd work over our 5 chord, right? Depends on if you think that sounds better or this. You know me, I like doing the rolls. And a nice fat chord on the melody note. I like that way better, grabbing that melody with the nice power chord. Now what I'm calling a power chord is just strings 6, 5, and 4, because that's root, 5th root. If you're a guitar player, you know that's your rock chord. And an open D. Super bluesy and fat sounding. Okay. So then you kind of repeat that for Long Lay the World. And go to your G chord for Sin. Sin. Now, Till He Appeared, remember? Till He. That's that C sharp major on Till, but we're not even going to play a chord there. We're just playing the melody. Till He. And then for Appeared, go to your 4th fret, just to avoid the 3rd string. Oops, so you don't want to do that because it's an F sharp minor. Now you could, if you wanted to play the melody, you could pull your bar back for and the so and. So and, because that's that open 2nd string is that's the melody for and. So 5th fret is where the, so appeared and the, and then sol, remember it's C sharp up here on our 11th fret. Sol, felt it, and I just go up a half step, 12th fret on my 4th string back to 11th. Grab that power chord for worth. So felt its worth. Now, anytime you're holding those notes out, you can do some sort of arpeggio on it. Now, it could just be just hitting the bass note to keep your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. Anything that's going to keep that rhythm going, it could just be that bass note. It could be. But the main part is getting that melody down, getting the bass of the chord down, let's say, hitting it, and then as you're able to, as you can understand it, keep all that going, fill in the holes, let's say, with your arpeggios, with your bass notes, however you want to do it to keep that rhythm going, right? If you can't do that, then just let it ring out for now and tap the rhythm out and change melody notes in rhythm, you know, if you're not able to do that. But that's something you can shoot towards. So now we go to a whole different section for A Thrill of Hope, The Weary World Rejoices. Let's go ahead and do that now.